Doug Nesbitt, Director of Affordable Finance and Fair Lending for CMG. My contact information is on this screen, and there will be a similar screen at the end, so you can grab my contact at the end. And towards the end of the presentation, by the way, I am going to put a starter kit in the chat, a link to a starter kit. It's got all kinds of goodies in it that you want to grab and utilize as you get going on HomeFundIt. So let's get the show on the road. I'll always have a lot of guests on this call, and just so you guys know, we welcome all agents on this call. This is an open call for loan officers and real estate agents, so we often have a lot of guests. A little bit about CMG for that reason. Company was founded 30 years ago. Chris George, our president and CEO, founded it in his garage in Pleasanton, and 6 employees, I think we started with, and the company has grown ever since. I joined the company when it was 10, so we're 30 years old now, and company's growing and growing. We're a top 15 lender. We grew last year when most lenders shrunk because we think we're doing things right, and evidently we are. 1,300 loan officers coast to coast, branches all over the place, every state. All our programs are available in all states. And we've got the full range of lending products that you'd expect from a top lender. That's one of the things we pride ourselves on, is having more products than other lenders have, more solutions. We've got a fantastic product team, plus 2 proprietary programs you can't get anywhere else. The all-in-one loan. I call it the most powerful loan on the planet. It's the loan I have on my house. It's the loan you're going to want to have on your house once you get your head around that program. It will change the way you think about mortgages and money forever. There's the ad for the all-in-one. And HomeFundIt. And this is going to be a giant ad for HomeFundIt. So what does HomeFundIt do? There's 3 things I want you to take away from today. One is we're going to talk about how it can help your buyer solve the #1 problem that's out there. We're going to talk a lot about this, the down payment. That's what this is all about. Down payment gifting, getting help with the down payment to get into a home. But there's tons of folks out there who are on the sidelines. And this is going to show you how to grab onto those folks and put them in your pipeline today, so that when they ultimately do become ready to buy a house, they're your customer. They're your customer already. And we're going to talk a lot about that. And then thirdly, we're going to show you how HomeFundIt, and it's built into the HomeFundIt program, you end up with more downstream referrals once they do buy. And that's a pretty cool feature, because that just helps grow your pipeline even further. So let's talk about first-time home buyers, because that's largely who uses the program. We do see move-up buyers using the program, but largely down payments, down payment gifting, solving the down payment problem is the domain of a first-time buyer. And they're dealing with big issues that we all know about: high home prices, rising rents, student debt slowing things down. And when you talk to renters, 70% of them will tell you that the down payment is the #1 problem, and the thing that's keeping most of them from getting into a home. There are other issues: credit, income, life timing, things like that. Lots of reasons people are on the sidelines. The big one is the down payment. So if you can solve that, you're in pretty good shape. How many people are on the sidelines? It's 10 to 1, right? For every buyer that's in the market shopping for a home today, you're fighting for business for the 1. There are 10 sitting around on the sidelines with issues that they have to deal with, right? So for every 10, there's 1. There's 4 million current buyers in the market annually. That number bumps around up and down, a couple 100,000 depending on the year and how things are going. But there's 41 million mortgage-ready buyers, prospective buyers, people who say they want to be a homeowner someday. They can make a mortgage payment. Freddie Mac says that there's 41 million of those out there. They're 40 years and younger, so they're in the prime home buying age. FICO 620 or higher, DTI under 25% or at 25%, no foreclosures, bankruptcies, or severe delinquencies. So they could do a mortgage for the average home. So coming up with that down payment is the big issue. And if you can solve that issue, you're going to help more buyers into your pipeline and not into your competitors. Let's talk about down payment gifting, because that's really what HomeFundIt focuses on. The traditional method of down payment gifting is the way people sort of accelerate their way into a home. You can't give yourself a raise, right? You can't always win the lottery every weekend. So you need a little bit of help from, in most cases, it's bank of mom and dad. 23% of purchases, according to the NAR, you get a little bit of help from bank of mom and dad. Even though under Fannie Freddie FHA guidelines, other relatives can help with that down payment, but they typically don't get asked because all the friction in the down payment gifting process. And we know about that. Paper checks, gift letters, sourcing rules, financial statements. And when you think about the timing of down payment gifting and when people find out how to do that, because look, you don't come out of school knowing how to do that. You find out about it from the loan officer. And by the time you're talking to a loan officer and a real estate agent, you're in the market shopping. And that process typically goes fairly quickly. So people don't have time to go back out to all their relatives and get paper checks and gift letters. And it's a big headache. So they just lean on mom and dad. So it's under delivering versus what it by guidelines could potentially deliver. And we said, hey, let's fix that. Let's move this process online like we do everything else. No offline paperwork, and let people give with a debit or credit card. And that lets it be easier for all of those relatives to be able to help with the down payment. Grandparents, siblings, aunts and uncles, godparents, all those folks, anyone can give on HomeFundIt. We've opened up the playing field so that non-relatives can help. Friends, cousins, teammates, coworkers, wedding guests, that's a huge one. Up to $5,000 per donor, no maximum on how much they can raise on the campaign. They can just keep going. No commissions or hidden costs. And this is a big one. No time limits. That means you can start HomeFundIt as early as you want. You don't have to be 18 even, 18 to get a loan, but you don't have to be 18 to start HomeFundIt. And you can run them as long as you want. You don't even need a loan file in place. You could just set up a HomeFundIt. That's huge because that means you could connect with anybody who's a potential home buyer down the road, whether or not they're ready to talk mortgage, right? But put them in your pipeline today. So one of the biggest strategic wins of the program is the fact that there's no time limits. And it is a platform, right? It works with any loan program out there except for HFA bond program, HFA and bond programs. Boil it all down to an elevator pitch, and we call this online down payment gifting from anyone. Online, we've taken the friction out of the process. Anyone can give. Your buyer doesn't have to worry about who's on the list of potential donors and not. Anybody who they know that could support them can step up and help. It sets up very, very easily. They just go through a few simple setup screens, and presto, they've got a page on the web where people can help them with their down payment. These pages, as you can see here, look like pretty much everything. Friends, family, graduations, weddings, dogs, cats, we've seen it all. People can customize them just the way they want, whatever they think is going to resonate with their family and friends. They can customize that picture at the top, the title of their campaign. They've got a nice little default story that we give them as a starter because people don't like to write one. And it's pretty good for most folks. They can fully customize that if they want, tell their own story. The loan officer and real estate agent are both featured on the campaign page. There's a place in the upper right hand corner where people donate to the campaign. Second way to add funds to a campaign, I'll talk about that in a second. It's called HomeFundIt. And in the bottom right, you can see where all the gifts are coming in. And that list gets pretty long on a lot of campaigns. We match those gifts coming in 2 to 1 up to the lesser of $2,000 or 1% of purchase price. We apply that separately as a lender credit at closing. It's on the CD. It's an ops lender credit. It just computes based on how much gifting you've brought in. There's 2 requirements to get to $2,000. Number 1, you have to be a first-time buyer. Anybody can use the platform, but the $2,000 is for first-time buyers, and we use the 3-year Fannie Mae rule. Only one person has to be a first-time buyer. Second main thing here is you got to do home buyer ed prior to signing a purchase contract. And we have a free 1-hour phone-based system with GreenPath. Couldn't be easier. All you do is call them, schedule it. Usually it can happen same day or next day. Or you can use a HUD-approved online course like Framework or the Fannie and Freddie courses. And there's lots of others as well. Has to be HUD-approved though. And the big one though is you have to do that before getting into a purchase contract. So if you're already under contract, then you're not going to get the $2,000. So that's the second requirement there. We stack a lot of these with Borrow Smart. Just remember, Borrow Smart is from Freddie Mac. It works with folks who make less than 100% of the area median income. You can get additional dollars there, and we can stack those on top of HomeFundIt. Great way to go for first-time buyers. HomeFundIt, second way to add funds to a campaign, and we do that simply by shopping. You click in right off the campaign page, and it opens up a world of online retailers. There are about 1,000 of them in there. Each one of them rebates a certain percentage of what got spent by anyone, and anyone can shop. That percentage goes back to the down payment as a pledge at closing. So it's a retention feature. You close, you get those rebate dollars, basically. It ranges from 1 to 50%, averages around 7.5%. All the stores you know and love are in here. Anybody can shop at these as long as they're going through the campaign page. And we give a 2-to-1 rebate, or we give a 2-to-1 bonus on those, just like we bonus the gift money coming in 2-to-1. We bonus those rebate pledges 2-to-1 towards that same $2,000 lender credit. You can think of it as a second way to get there. To make it easy, so you don't have to go through the campaign page every time, we've got a nice little Chrome extension that pops up. Anytime you hit one of those stores, if you forgot to go through the campaign page, no problem. It's going to automatically link your shopping trip to the campaign that you're supporting. So it's a great way to go anytime anyone is doing online shopping. A lot of folks like to share their campaign on social, so we like to incentivize that as well. You can get $10 every time you share your campaign on social towards that $2,000 lender credit. So think about it again, it's like a third way to get to that lender credit. And your friends can come in and share your page. All you got to do is share from the campaign page, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You're getting $10 towards your $2,000 every time you share. And again, it's per person, per platform, per day. Now, when your buyer sets up their campaign, they have a nice little campaign dashboard that they get to. That's how you know you've got an active campaign. They make it all the way to the dashboard. Takes them all of maybe 2 minutes to get here, and they've got a campaign page. And one of the first things that they'll see is they have a nice little to-do list that gives them all the things that they need to remember to do on their campaign. Customize their photo, share with their family and friends. And there, by the way, one of my favorite things on here is this email family and friends line. If you hit the go button here, you get 3 sample emails that you can send out to your family and friends. If you're not into sharing on social, no problem. You can just share those emails out to your family and friends. It's a great way to go. You could even click in and start a pre-qual from here. You can track your campaign. Loan officer and real estate agent both featured on this dashboard as well. So it's a great little control center for your buyer's campaign. Now there's 2 tracks to HomeFundIt, and I'm going to go through these because this is kind of important administrative detail. One is the Freddie Mac track. The other is the non-Freddie Mac track. We have a special relationship with Freddie Mac on HomeFundIt. I'm going to do the non-Freddie track first. Again, you can set these campaign pages up, run them as long as you want. Start shopping with Up It initially if you want, then transition to fundraising. It's up to you how you do that and for how long. Typically, the fundraising process, when people start talking to family and friends about it, usually 4 to 12 weeks. Make sure you get your home buyer ed done before you get out there house hunting, because you want to be done before you get into contract. That is essential. And because seasoning is required on non-Freddie Mac campaign gifts, that means you need to get those gifts into the bank account of the buyer for seasoning. And we do that with an ACH button that's on every campaign page. They just hit that button, dump the funds into their bank account, season those funds in their bank account. How long is seasoning? 2 bank statements, right? So typically that's at least 60 days. Don't get hung up on 60. It's usually longer than that, because when you think about the timing of bank statements, you got to have that deposit in there ahead of those 2 bank statements. Now, sometimes on FHA, depending on your AUS findings, you're going to only be called for 1 bank statement, so you can squeeze it a little tighter sometimes. But generally speaking, the rule of thumb is get going early. Fundraise early, help your buyer get that process going and get those funds in their bank for seasoning. And then you're going to close, you're going to get your $2,000 Up It funds, Up It $2,000 lender credit, and your Up It funds at closing, basically. So now you're probably sitting there saying, what happens if I don't have time to season those funds? Well, all is not lost. You can leave them in your campaign page until after you close, then ACH the funds to yourself. Afterwards, use them for paint, carpet upgrades, repairs, things like that. So that's typically how that works. You can't use unseasoned funds in the transaction. There's a sourcing mismatch, and it causes problems at closing. So if you don't have time to season, don't worry, just leave the funds in your campaign until after closing, and you can use those gift funds after closing. Now with Freddie Mac, no seasoning is required. You can sit there, set up your campaign page, run it as long as you want, right down to the wire. Make sure you get your home buyer ed done before you get into contract. And then you're going to submit your loan application, close, get your $2,000, your Up It funds. And the gift funds on a Freddie Mac campaign are wired automatically in at closing. We've done tons of these. We're just now crossing the 2,000 mark for HomeFundIt, so we've seen a lot of different campaigns. It works with every loan program out there except for HFA bond programs. So we've really seen everything from really giant campaigns and really giant loans to small stuff. It just varies all over the place. There's no upper limit on these, so 5,000 per donor, but you can keep going. And And by the way, it doesn't keep you from doing down payment gifting offline as well. So if you have, a rich uncle who wants to give you $100,000, you can put 5,000 in on the campaign, and you put 95,000 through traditional gift. And I still got to do the gift letter and all that stuff. So it doesn't stop you from doing that, but it can help. On the average, it's helping most people do all their down payment gifting much more easily. The sweet spot campaign, though, even though there have been some very large ones, 5 to 15,000, 5 to 15 donors. This is for a good-looking, well-shared campaign like this one. This is a couple, South Carolina. They had recently gotten married. They went back to the same group of people. They found out about HomeFundIt after they got married. They went back to the same group of people who came to their wedding, and they said, we discovered this later, but you guys know we're buying a house. We're hoping to buy a house, and we're wondering if you would like to help us with the down payment. They actually only thought their parents were going to give, kind of the normal thing. And they were blown away because 13 people gave to the campaign and helped them raise about $11,000 in just a couple of weekends. And it just helped them get into their home sooner, stronger, better positioned financially. And what was really cool about this was not so much how much they raised, but the number of people that jumped in unexpectedly. They did not expect it. And we see that all the time on these campaigns, that when they put it out there, people that they didn't expect will jump in and help. Big ways, small ways, etc. And even if it's not in big ways, what's important is that that person went in and helped. And that's what we call the HomeFundIt network effect. In a normal home purchase, there are 4 main players on stage: loan officer, realtor, buyer, and seller. And you're hoping you're going to get some referral business from the buyer in most cases, or maybe the seller, depending on the relationships. It's kind of limited. There's just not a lot of people who know about that home purchase happening, or at least are involved, maybe mom and dad. But with HomeFundIt, you can have all these donors who are helping that buyer buy that house. They're all experiencing the HomeFundIt platform because they're interacting with it. They're seeing the loan officer there, the realtor there. And guess what those donors go out and do? Well, they've all got networks of their own, family, friends, etc. And they've experienced this thing called HomeFundIt. So we see them going out saying, hey, go talk to this loan officer, this real estate agent, because they got this cool thing called HomeFundIt. And we helped Joe and his wife buy this house with it. You should use it too. And that's the HomeFundIt network effect. If you start early enough and you encourage your buyer to get out there and talk to family and friends about it, you end up with these larger donor networks who then refer business in to you. And it happens all the time on HomeFundIt. Now, if you jam your buyer at the end and you bring up HomeFundIt like 6 weeks before they close or 4 weeks before they close, you're not going to give them enough time to work it comfortably into their life. The minute you find out somebody is a potential home buyer down the road, set them up on a campaign page and encourage them to talk to the people that they know and love, that know them and love them, right? Because those are the people who at different points in their life, they're going to interact with those people. When grandma comes to visit, when they're out with their friends, when they're at the backyard barbecue, when they're at work, when they're doing various things, they have an opportunity to bring up HomeFundIt to the people that are meaningful in their life. If you jam them at the end, those opportunities can't exist. So start early, encourage them to share. You got to kind of push them a little bit to some degree on some folks. You have to say, hey, look, you've got this tool where you can bring in down payment gifts from the grandparents, and the parents can talk to the grandparents, and get that kind of network and sharing and conversations going. And you kind of need to give them a nudge sometimes, but you should, because the more time they have, the more donors they can line up, the more referral business you are going to get. And we see that all the time. Now with HomeFundIt, what we do also, starting in 2024 here, we started a program where we actually email those donors after closing. So at funding, at 1 month out, 3 months out, and a year after closing, we email them on behalf of the buyer saying, thanks again for donating to our campaign. We couldn't have done it without you. And by the way, here's the team I worked with. They're fantastic. And you can see here the loan officer and the real estate agent are featured here. So you're going to want to give your buyer time to get these donors lined up, because those donors become marketing agents for you down the road. So start early and encourage more donations to happen. You're going to see more and more downstream business in your pipeline. Okay, so how do you get this out there? We've got 6 business building strategies that we kind of see HomeFundIt being used in that are building business for folks, and I've kind of curated those here. I'm going to walk through them. The first one is longer because it's the realtor portal that we use with real estate agents. So I'm going to walk through these, and then we'll do a quick wrap up and Q&A. Strategy number 1 is realtor portals. Agents, you're going to definitely want one of these. This is where we partner with you in the field so that you have a starting place for buyers that you're meeting out there to start a HomeFundIt campaign. They're super easy to set these up. They've got some fantastic marketing tools built into them, plus downstream nurture marketing for those campaigns that are going to go for a while. And again, you're going to want them to go for a while because that's how they generate that downstream referral business. They've got your branding on them. They've got your picture and contact information on them. This is where people start a HomeFundIt campaign right there on your page. There's a ask a question panel so that people can get back in touch with you. That goes to your email. There's video that explains how the program works. There is a active and successful campaigns tab on your page so that showcases all of the campaigns that are running that are connected to you. There's an optional match that you can do, and I highly recommend this. This is in 40 states where you can help with closing costs. There are 40 states, and you guys probably know whether you're in one of these or not, but if you can help with closing costs, this is the way to do it. Why should you do this? It's an optional dollar for dollar match up to any cap that you want to set. Set it at 500, set it at 1,000, set it at 250, whatever you need to do. Do a match because that incentivizes your buyer to go out there and talk to family and friends about helping with their campaign. It gives them another piece of ammo that they can use when they do that. They can go out and say, my lender is matching 2 to 1. My real estate agent is matching 1 to 1. Could you help me a little bit with my down payment if you're interested? Sure, because every $100 I give you, it's worth $400. Absolutely. So it helps you line up that extra donor for your buyer. And ultimately, as we saw earlier, that provides downstream referral business for you. So these optional matches are, for a small amount of money, are extremely powerful because it gives your buyer the tools to go out and find more donors, which gives you more referral business. In your portal, there's a fantastic marketing center that has downloadable social graphics and testimonial videos that are fantastic to share. The cool thing about these testimonial videos in particular is that they have your branding automatically applied to the video. They're super easy to share. I'll show you how in a second. And then they got a contact form so people can get back in touch with you. There are 7 of these in there, all different types of stories about how people are being helped by HomeFundIt. I tell people share one of those every weekend. You can see my branding here on this one, sample one. I'm going to just click the share button underneath it, and bam, there is a post in my social feed for Facebook because I'm already logged in. All I got to do is put some call to action copy at the top, and then I'm going to hit the post button at the bottom, and bam, it goes right in my social media timeline. It took me like 10 seconds to do that. How did I write all that copy so fast? I'm going to show you. So anyway, easy to do your weekend marketing. Take you like 5-10 seconds to get one of those videos out there on the wire. And you can boost that to people who don't currently follow your page. Really easy to do. Hit the boost post button and away you go. How did I write that copy on there so fast? I stole it. Basically, for each one of those videos inside your portal, there's a marketing kit that has a page that corresponds with each one of those videos. All you got to do is plagiarize, take the copy off that page, stick it on the post, hit the post button, and you're good to go. So you don't even have to be a copywriting genius. All you got to do is be a plagiarizing genius like me. Just plagiarize it on there and away you go. So fantastic way to get your marketing done for the weekend. Easy to get one of these portals. Just go to realtor.homefundit.com. You're just going to pick a password, put in some company information, pick a vanity URL for your site, upload your logo and your picture. You're going to write a little about me statement, copy that in or plagiarize that in from your regular website. And very important, select your loan officer from the drop down. They're all in there. And then all you got to remember to do is do one of those matching pledges. If you're in a state where you can help with closing costs, you can help with a matching pledge. And it's a great way to help your buyer say, hey, my real estate agent is matching me dollar for dollar. Will you help me with my down payment? Fantastic stuff and really easy. And you can cap that at any amount you want. Now, once you get some campaigns up and running, you stay visible. We send weekly email statements to your buyer featuring your branding and an update on their campaign. You'll get a weekly update late Friday, early Saturday morning as well. Loan officers, you get one as well. It'll show all your real estate agent portals. And then, of course, anytime something happens on a campaign, like a donation or a share or a shopping, you'll see an activity triggered email that everybody gets that says something just happened. Realtor.homefundit.com. Write that down. It'd take you like 2 or 3 minutes to get one of these portals set up. Now, loan officers, you've got a Domo report where you can track campaigns that have loans. So be sure to track that down in Domo. Loan officers also, you don't have a realtor portal per se, but you already do have a HomeFundIt page in your My Site. So go in your My Site, go under products, look for HomeFundIt, and you'll have a custom HomeFundIt page there. And the link on that page will start a HomeFundIt campaign that's linked to you. Of course, there's no real estate agent yet on that. We can add the real estate agent later. So if they're not working with an agent yet, you can start one right from your My Site. Okay, let's move on to strategy 2, weddings. This is probably the hottest area of HomeFundIt right now because 65% of people getting married will buy a home within 48 months. That's the stat. The other stat that you got to pay attention to is cash funds. 40% of weddings now do cash funds. You talk to a wedding planner today, one of the things they tell you that their clients struggle with is what to do with the registry. Kids getting married today don't want all the stuff that boomers used to get, and even to some degree, early millennials. 40% of weddings are now doing cash funds. That trend is growing and registries are going away because people realize you don't need all this stuff, and people getting married today already have all this stuff. So what they need, though, is help with that down payment. So the easiest pitch in the universe is to go to a wedding expo and stand there and say, hey, let your wedding guests help you with your down payments. We've got all kinds of marketing materials here. We have loan officers and real estate agents that are out there at wedding expos almost every weekend that there are out there around the country. We've got someone at one of these shows because I talk to one every day practically. We had one in the Scottsdale area get 96 leads in an afternoon. This is warm leads at the table on the form saying, I love this idea. I want to do this for my wedding. Of course, it's all in the follow-up, of course, and that's up on you, but it gives you an opportunity to interact with a lot of future home buyers with a pitch that sort of resonates with them very, very well, at least almost half of them. And we've got a best practices kit. Email me and I can send that to you as well. We've got some great marketing support, show materials here, as you've seen in the upper right. And it's just a great strategy. People are putting QR codes in their save the date announcement, in their wedding announcement saying, hey, instead of a regular registry, we're doing HomeFundIt. We'd love some help with our down payment. We kind of have what we need. We just need a house. And guests are happy to do that, especially when they say our lender is matching 2 to 1 and our real estate agent is matching 1 to 1. Wedding guests are really excited about doing that. So it's a huge strategy, and definitely give that some consideration. Strategy 3 is the next gen buyer. You know, we've got a lot of folks today who are locked in at 3%, aging in place. These are your older clients who should be moving, downsizing, et cetera, but aren't. The thing is, they've got kids who are coming up through college, starting that first job. And the traditional pitch with those clients is, hey, call me when your kids are ready to buy a house, right? And you hope they remember to, right? And that's kind of a very flimsy connection. Well, now you've got the ability to reach out, connect with those older customers who are the gatekeepers to the next generations and say, hey, we've got this great tool that can help your kids buy a home sooner. So all you have to do is connect with your older clients, those that are aging in place, those you know who have dependents, and say, let's get them started on a HomeFundIt campaign today. You're looking at a photo of a young lady here who found out it from her dad, the guy in the purple shirt. He happens to be a real estate agent that works with our top LO in Tennessee, maybe one of our top LOs everywhere. And he basically went home, told his daughter about it, and she said, let's get that set up. She was a junior at Clemson when she set up her campaign and graduated, put a QR code in her graduation announcement and said, hey, you know, my lender is matching 2 to 1. And what I'd really like when I graduate is to be, my goal is to buy a house as soon as I can. So if you can help, that'd be great. She was in a house by November after graduating. Very, very powerful tool to connect with your older clients, those that are aging in place who have dependents, and get those dependents started on a HomeFundIt campaign. And loan officers in Domo, there's a report that can give you that call list. So all you got to do is go in there and find the next gen target list. This is all your past loans that are in our system that have dependents that were listed on the loan application and the ages of those dependents. And all you do is you just go down that list, look for the green bars, call those customers and say, hey, we got this great tool. How are the kids doing? Strategy 4, similar, buyers needing time. This is our trash to treasure strategy. These are for all those 10 to 1 buyers that are sidelined. They're waiting for inventory to come on the market. They're dealing with life issues like they're getting married next year, or they're still in college, or they have jobs that need to kind of get lined out first, or buyers that other agents have walked away from, mortgage turn downs, credit repair, those that are in credit repair activities and things, folks who just need time to develop their finances. Those are buyers that your competitors don't know what to do with. You can grab them, put them in a HomeFundIt campaign, because look, they all need a bigger down payment. You haven't met a first-time buyer that couldn't use a larger down payment, no matter where they are on that timeline. And you can make them your customer today while they work through all those issues. They're going to have a bigger down payment when they come out the pipe the other end, and you can grab that customer instead of your competitors. So this is a huge strategy. There's 10 of them for every one that are in the market. Strategy 5, renovation. This is one of my favorites right now because I think it's one of the best HomeFundIt stories there is. Here's how the story goes. Hey, family, friends, we couldn't find the house that we were looking for because there's just nothing on the market today, but we found this old fixer and we're hoping you can help. Our lender is matching 2-to-1 and our real estate agent's matching 1-to-1. We've got a renovation loan team. We just need the down payment. And it's a fantastic HomeFundIt story. HomeFundIt works with renovation loans. And again, I think this is one of the most exciting stories that really addresses that inventory shortage that we're having out there today. So it can be used with it, and give that some consideration. And strategy 6 is really picking up steam these days. This is where people are going out working with organizations. We've got a special portal that an organization, whether it's a for-profit company that wants to help their employees, or a nonprofit that wants to help the people that they're helping in a different way, they can put up a page that serves as a starting point for campaigns. And that organization can match into those campaigns. The top one here is probably our biggest, best one. It's called Hamra Enterprises. You haven't heard of Hamra, but you've heard of the brands. Wendy's, Panera, Noodles and Company. They're a huge franchisor, about 20,000 employees. We just had a giant meeting with them yesterday. They have 3 portals running. $1,000 donation, a $1,500 gift, and a $2,500 gift to their employees. I think they're running about 60 campaigns right now. We're doing home buyer events for them. It gives you huge access into the organization. So if you have a relationship with an organization where you know somebody in the top of HR or the CEO or the owner, and it's a good pool of potential home buying employees, we can help them get set up, talk to them about the program, and then connect with me and we'll do a follow-up meeting where we walk them through the portals and details. We have universities on it. We have healthcare organizations. Roy Washburn's doing East Alabama Health right now. It's a network of hospitals. And we now have builders that are setting these up. Chris Minharas has Brown Homes. Jody Showman has one here, as you can see. And it's a portal for builders to use to park people in HomeFundIt while they build a bigger down payment while that home is being built. So it's a fantastic value add for a builder as well. So give that some consideration. And then kind of a follow on to the wedding idea and this affinity portal idea is partnering with wedding service providers. So now that you know you have a corporate portal that you can set up for a company, while you're at one of those wedding expos, you're surrounded by potential partners that are trying to sell to the same people you are. Photographers, planners, bridal shop owners, caterers, venues, they can all set up a affinity portal and become more competitive, offer a match to buyers, plus our $2,000 match. They can use our $2,000 to become even more competitive. So it's a great way to partner with folks that are also interacting with those 65% of people getting married who are going to buy a house pretty soon. So to kind of wrap up here, then we'll do some Q&A. You know, today the normal path is that buyers go through life, and then they reach out looking for a loan officer and a real estate agent. But with HomeFundIt, as you can see today, you can start that relationship. In fact, should start that relationship as early as possible. Right? And it could be as early as while they're still in college, as we saw in that example. They can shop with Up It for a while if they're not ready to start talking to their family and friends about gifting. And then they're eventually going to do that. Campaign's going to be completed earlier. They're going to be in a position to buy their home sooner because they're getting help from outside. So you're able to win that buyer earlier. You're speeding up the process, and you're taking a deal off the table that your competitors can no longer have. It all boils down to getting people in these campaign pages as early as possible, because again, that generates more downstream referral business for you. So the key takeaways here, and then we'll do a little Q&A, and I'll promise to provide you that gift. For your clients, it can speed up that process. It secures those long-range buyers like no other program I know. Try sending them a market update email every month for 2 years, right? Eventually, they're going to unsubscribe or just stop looking at it. This is a process that secures a long-range buyer and adds value and accelerates their trip to buying a home sooner, right? And it generates those exponential referrals down the road. Because again, the earlier you start, the more chances they have to line up more donors who are ultimately going to be referral points for you. For your clients, it's a game changer because you take the friction out of down payment gifting and you give them a little nudge. Trust me, they will start to think of people who could potentially help them. And again, give them time to do that. It's a win. There's no surprise here, folks, that the average duration on a HomeFundIt campaign has grown from 30 days when we launched it to over 6 months now. This means that people are starting HomeFundIt months and even years ahead of when that buyer is ready to buy a home. 6 months is the average now on HomeFundIt. Sure, we do some fast ones, but we do a lot of really long ones now. Again, this is online down payment gifting where anyone can give. That's your elevator pitch. That's all you need to memorize when you meet with the buyer. Hey, we've got online down payment gifting where anyone can give. You think you could do something with that? Absolutely, they say. Key resources, cheat sheet, FAQ, quick start flyers, and again, in Surefire, we've got all kinds of co-brandable flyers. And as promised, in chat, I am putting a link to the HomeFundIt starter kit. Go ahead and click that. It'll download from Dropbox. You're going to unzip that, and inside there is a whole bunch of good stuff. Start with the cheat sheet. If that link doesn't work for you, and sometimes it blows up in chat, try copying the entire link into a fresh browser instead of clicking on it, because sometimes it breaks when you click on it from Ring Central. But it's a great starter kit to kind of get things rolling. And then what you need to do really is, if you're a real estate agent, set up a portal. If you're a loan officer, make sure all of your referral partners have these portals and start working it into every first-time buyer discussion. As I said, we've got online down payment gifting for many. That's all you need to start the conversation, and start that conversation early. I can't say that enough times, because that's the most powerful thing we've learned in HomeFundIt recently, is the ones that get started early have more donors, have more referral business. And retrain yourself, because we're really used to waiting until a real estate agent refers business into us. Or if you're a real estate agent, you're waiting for somebody to say, hey, I'm ready to go house hunting finally. Now you can connect with all of your network out in life, right? All the people you know, all those aging in place boomers, right? The folks who have kids who are coming up through college and starting that first job. You don't have to wait any longer. So retrain yourself to have those conversations and work HomeFundIt into those conversations, and you'll find yourself growing your pipeline very, very quickly. And posting those testimonial videos, little things like that, links to your portal and your signature block, do things like that, and that's going to generate more conversations for you. We're here every Friday pretty much, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. I do dedicated trainings all week long for various branches and real estate offices. So contact me. My contact information here is below, and we'll get one of those set up if you have an opportunity to talk to a group. I'm game for that anytime. So let's dive into Q&A. I've got a few here. I'm going to do them off the Q&A panel, and I'm also going to do them off the chat panel. I'm going to address the ones on the Q&A panel first. Why can't we do this with HFA and bond programs? So that has to do with how we sell those loans on the secondary market. HFA and bond programs don't go direct to the agencies. They go through those state agencies, and we take a pretty good size haircut on those. On top of that, we'd be giving away $2,000 lender credit. So we can't do those because we're basically underwater if we do them with an HFA and bond program. So we exclude those from working with HomeFundIt. Now, your Home Possible and Home Ready 3% down payment programs, those are fantastic, and they do work with HomeFundIt. Home Possible and Home Ready right now have $2,500 in grant money for buyers that are earning less than 50% of the AMI. So you should definitely consider that instead of a HFA bond program. We also have FHA Buyer's Choice. FHA Buyer's Choice basically has a DPA second, and we can do that with HomeFundIt. So basically you can get 100% financing with that program. So that's a huge alternative to HFA and bond programs and DPA programs out there. So consider Home Possible, Home Ready, and FHA Buyer's Choice. In 7 states and rolling out even further, we have CMG Community 1. Can't use that with HomeFundIt right now, but soon you will be able to. So keep your eye on that program. That's coming soon. Can't use it with HomeFundIt now, though. Let's see, could we see this video again on the platform? Yeah, so I've been recording this, and I will post it probably over the weekend to the shared recording. Is there any marketing that we can have in Spanish? Yeah, we have a bunch of flyers on Surefire in Spanish, and you can grab those. The web pages are obviously in English, but what people do is they just reset the language on their web page, and these days the conversion is actually fairly good. So I would say that's probably how we resolve the web stuff. Had an agent tell me she was being charged $45 a month for her site. What's that about? Well, yeah, that's what I would say too. If the agent was being charged $45 a month for her site, that's probably some other site, because we don't charge for HomeFundIt. Everything is free, and we cover all of the costs of operating the platform. So that's everything from the Q&A panel. I'm going to jump over to the chat panel, and we'll do them there. I have my realtor referral partners on with us. Just thought I'd let you know. Thank you for inviting them. You guys, loan officers, please invite your teams. We're here every Friday. And thanks for joining us, folks. Is there a welcome to the buyer when they open the online retailer window, or is there a separate window? Yeah, so when you jump in through UpIt, this is the online shopping aspect of HomeFundIt, it opens up all those retailers. Each one of those retailers are listed. You click in there, and that opens up the retailer. And there's a little kind of a informational bar on the left there that shows that some of the items are less than 8%, and some of the items are excluded. You get kind of some of the rules there, and then you click right into the retailer. The rest of the shopping experience is just like you would go, let's say, to Target.com and shop at Target.com. You can't tell the difference once you're actually into the retailer. It looks exactly the same, feels exactly the same, but because you came in the HomeFundIt door, it's linking that shopping trip to the campaign. Now, you can't go to the Target store down the street physically, because we have no way of linking that to a campaign. And if you forget to go through the campaign page, or you don't have the Chrome extension installed, it will not link, because it doesn't know, right? So you have to go through the campaign page or use the extension to link that shopping trip. What marketing is available to us to send to our clients? Tons. If you go into Surefire and you filter on HomeFundIt, you will see dozens of flyers of all different types, event flyers, regular flyers, combo flyers with Borrow Smart, all different types, wedding stuff. It's all in there in Surefire. Also on Sprinkler, there's tons of downloadable social graphics that you can share on social, like on Instagram, etc. Another question, how long is the first time home buyer ed certificate for? Typically those are 12 months. So if you've got a really long range campaign, have your buyer not do it till they're within maybe a year of buying a home. Can we see this video again on the platform? Yeah. In fact, what I'll do right here is I'm going to put a link right now to our on-demand platform, and that's where I'm going to put it in chat, because I can blast it out in chat. This link that I just put in chat is to our on-demand platform. I will probably have this training, the one I just did, up there shortly. The one that's on there now is a couple weeks old, might be a week or two old. It's going to be very similar. This one's actually improved a little bit, so if you wait a few days, this one will be on there, and I think I made a bunch of changes to this one this time. I think it's better. Let's see, could you possibly email the recording that we can review? I put that link there, so grab that link. You actually have to register for that link of the replay. So just register and click the watch now option. You can watch it in like 10 minutes, or you can watch it now. I just choose watch now. Let's see, can the builder create a portal for the home, or does it have to be for the buyer? The buyer isn't known yet. So the builder's portal is an affinity portal, basically, that they put up, and people can start a HomeFundIt campaign right on that portal, and the builder gets made aware. It's branded, everything's branded with the builder's branding on it and everything like that. They don't create a special one for a specific home. It's for the builder itself. And if you want to go through all that stuff, shoot me a quick email and I can give you guys a real detailed tour if you want of the org portals. We call them org portals because any organization really can set one of these up. What happens if a potential buyer collects monies and then ends up not buying a home due to a breakup or some other reason? Do the donors get their monies back? This is the #1 question. You guys should all know the answer to this one. So here it is. It's the buyer's money. They was given that money to the buyer by all their friends and family. So they can take and do whatever they want with that money. We can't hold that money and make them buy a house with us on that. That being said, it almost never happens that once people start raising funds on the platform, they're super committed to you as the loan officer, to the real estate agent, to HomeFundIt, the buying experience, everything. And they typically, short of a disaster, will go all the way through, even if they get turned down for a loan or the offer is refused or rejected. They will keep going until they buy a house typically. Now, there are times, as you said in the question here, where there's a breakup or a major health issue. Sometimes they will put the entire home buying plan off to the side for an indefinite amount of time, and they don't want to hold that money in their campaign forever. So they will ask us to reverse the gifts back to the donors, which we can do. Just shoot us an email. We'll empty the campaign back to the donors. So that's what we see occasionally. We saw one of those last week, actually. It's kind of sad, but it can happen. So they do have full control over their funds. That ACH button's always there, so they can pull the funds and dump it into their bank account. Again, once they're getting money from family and friends, really rare that they exit on voluntary basis. Another question: can we have the borrowers do the Freddie Mac framework online homebuyer ed, even if we'll be doing an FHA loan? Check the requirements for your specific loan program as to what homebuyer ed is acceptable for that homebuyer ed. For HomeFundIt, we will accept framework. We'll accept Credit Smart U. We'll accept, the Green Path online, the Green Path offline one that we do, the 1 hour over the phone one is good. But check to make sure that if you're using a specific type of loan, that it's going to also work with them. Generally, anything that works for HomeFundIt will work for most loans, but double check your guides. How do we get our LO portal set up? You guys already have one. If you're a loan officer, it's in your My Site. Go to Products at the top, click on Products, and kind of down towards the bottom, you'll see HomeFundIt. Click that, and then you'll get to your HomeFundIt page. That's the page you want to share with your buyer. On that page is a button to start a HomeFundIt campaign. That button is customized to you, and you can actually click and see your name up in the URL on that button. So that's the way you want to do it if you're just LO only, no real estate agent. Another question, apologize if you said this, but where is the money being held? Actually, I don't think I explained where the money was. We use Merchants Bank of Indiana to hold the funds. They're FDIC insured, and that's where all of the HomeFundIt funds pass through on their way into the purchase. Can family members use the shopping link? Absolutely, and they should. It's always better to have more people shopping for you because, again, you got to spend a lot of money at 7.5% back to generate a lot of money. So it's better to have a network of supporters who are helping you. That's why we built the Chrome extension, so that people can all install that Chrome extension. Makes it super easy for a lot of people to be able to help you shopping to raise a bigger down payment. Make sure you grab that online replay, the starter kit. Another question, is there a way to text this to buyers that are early in the process? Yeah, you're going to want to share a link to your realtor portal if you're a real estate agent. If you're a loan officer, you're definitely going to want to share your My Site page. And if they don't have a realtor yet, definitely share your My Site page with the buyer. Those are the URLs to share with the buyers to get them going. Another question, can HomeFundIt funds be used with a bond loan? No, that's that HFA bond program that I put at the very beginning. I can't use those because we have low margins on those because we're selling them to one of those state agencies and they take a big haircut in the secondary side of the loan. So unfortunately, we can't be using those with the bond program. But again, I would really encourage you to take a look at Home Possible and Home Ready. Again, $2,500 grants on anybody making less than 50% of the AMI. You definitely want to look at Borrow Smart from Freddie Mac. Definitely want to look at our FHA Buyer's Choice program. Our classic community program can be used with HomeFundIt. Fantastic pricing. That's the Chase program. So fantastic options to a DPA bond HFA type program. Can an agent be added to the buyer's website team area after the site is set up? Yeah. So if you have a buyer who's got a campaign up and running, let's say they're just linked to the loan officer because they came through your My Site, the buyer can link their real estate agent from their dashboard. I don't know if you probably didn't see it. I was going kind of fast. In that to-do list, there is a place that says add your real estate agent. So all you got to do is add the real estate agent. Now the real estate agent has to have a realtor portal. Otherwise we have no idea of knowing who those people are. We don't have any of their information. So make sure they have a realtor portal. We can add that realtor later. Or you can contact my team, info@homefundit.com, info@homefundit.com, and we can manually add a real estate agent if you don't want to have your buyer do it. Let's see. I think I got through all the questions, and most everybody's still on. So thank you guys for sticking around for all the Q&A. I really appreciate that. Again, my contact information is here on this last screen, and feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions. We've got a team of folks that works to get loans through the system. Make sure you pull the guidelines if you're a loan officer and read them. Make sure you pull the HomeFundIt training manual. Make sure your team is familiar with that because it'll save you pain down the road. You want to close these smoothly, and you can get yourself over your skis and get your campaign too far down the line, and then you forget to connect everything you need to connect on the loan side. So make sure you are reading the training manual. Tip for users, you want to get familiar with the HomeFundIt tab. If you've never done one of these, the HomeFundIt tab in Byte. There is a HomeFundIt tab. If you've never done one of these, you've never seen that tab. So go find that tab, look through it. There's a couple little things in there that you got to have set, and that's what allows your lender credit to make sure it shows up on the CD. Otherwise, you're going to have this campaign that's not talking to the loan. Don't want to have that happening. You want to have the campaign talking to the loan so that the loan knows, hey, there was money raised. I'm going to do a 2-for-1 match on that on the CD. So make sure you check out that HomeFundIt tab in Byte. Make sure your processors are checking that out because that's what's connecting the campaign to your loan in Byte. Okay, I saw a couple new questions come in. I'll stick around and answer those. Can we put our campaigns on our inside address? I'm not sure I understand that one. Can we put our campaigns on our inside address? Elaborate or shoot me an email on that one, and I'll see if I can get that answered. Sorry about that. I'm like not on the right channel on that one. Is My Site your website? Yeah. So your My Site is your loan officer website, your CMG loan officer website. Or if you're in one of our JVs, they all have them too. So you have your own website that you're sending people to. Usually that's in your signature block as well. And if you go in there in products, you'll see HomeFundIt kind of down towards the end of thing. Let's see, can you put your campaigns on your inside email address? I'm still blanking on that one. I'm sorry, Jeff. And maybe I'm just tired. It's been a long week. Signature block. Yes. Okay. Yes. You can put your HomeFundIt page. You can put anything you want on that signature block. Get a hold of marketing because I've seen them do some amazing signature block modifications with HomeFundIt. I've seen people put the HomeFundIt link on there. I've seen people put a first-time buyer badge on there, a down payment specialist badge, all kinds of cool things. So connect with marketing, and they will pretty up your signature block any way you want. I think they've got some pretty amazing capabilities. But I have seen some good stuff. And then real estate agents, your realtor portal link is probably the best thing to put because you want to drive people to that page so that they can play the videos, get a campaign started, all that good stuff. Okay. I think I got them all done here. I'm going to turn off the recording. And again, thank you.